But yeah, there is something to be said of, like, people who just... Because I get it, right? Everyone's so stressed and stuff that, like, maintaining friendships is real, real hard. Like, it's, like, arguably one of the hardest things about isolation. But, like, I had a bunch of friends who straight up were just like, oh, I'm never messaging you again for, like, the whole, like, first 5 months of the pandemic. And then they were like, how are you? And I'm like, what? Like, you don't just... Like, what person does that? Like, what person just, like, dips out of a friendship and then dips back in? Like, I do not understand. Because I get that, too. Like, I get, like, you know, like, being like, hey, I'm super busy, I won't talk to you for a bit. But, like, no warning or nothing, just straight up, oh, I think I know what this is. I bet you $1,000 that this is... Yep. This is Amber's counterintelligence office. The hidden one, isn't it? Yep. Really? Only 2 layers of dirt down? Oh, my pick's here. Did anything else survive? That was a dumb choice. That was a dumb choice. That looks way less conspicuous. Alright, well, again, as I said previously, the idea of, like, having nether armor for a character that's literally, like... What else did I have on me? Probably some of my potions, my pocket. Well, at least I have my armor. I don't want to, like, be too OP and be like, yep, let me grab all the ender pearls. Like, now I can get those from grinding. But yeah, I'm not losing my, like, key weapons. Like, nope, need those. That's also why I have a copycat chest in my, like, main adventure chest. So that if I do die in a dumb way, I know literally every item, which I already do, but, you know, just for reference. Because, like, in my luck, I'd be like, oh, I have everything packed, and then I'd forget a bed. Be like, no, nope. And be like, oh, you need that, and I'd be like, great. Usually, I almost always, in my hotbar, I have the main weapons, and then I have torches for mining. I have a stack of dirt, usually always, to, like, stack out of situations. I have some ender pearls, I have milk in case I get, like, poisoned, and then I usually... Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Oh, duh. Ender pearls, milk, golden apples. And torches. But yeah. Oh, and my bow. I was like, what? I was, like, trying to think. Because I've literally had that set up for, like, the last 10 years. Is usually how I set up my hotbar. It's just, like, main weapons, bow, torch... main items. I feel like I'm the only person, like every other Minecrafter is just like, yeah, PvP, and I'm the only person who's like, no, I like bow and arrows the most. Like, I feel like there's people, like, I've literally had people be like, why do you use bow and arrows as your default? And it's like, it's long range. Way less chance of damage, you know? That's why I have this whole, like, archery shoot up. But yeah, it's now 5, so I think I'll probably just go to like 5:10 and then head off. Yeah. State schools are the biggest scam, man. And, like, I get it going for, like, a 4-year degree, because, like, that's what I'm going to have to do, right? Is I'm going to have to transfer from my community college to a big school to finish out that latter half of my degree. But at least I'm only paying half the money, you know? And I'm not doing room and board, because that's insane. It's, like, if I already have a situation that, like, makes sense, why would it... The rate that dormitories are charged at, it's like, hello, broke college student. We're gonna make you pay, like, literally over, like, $50K for a dorm. And you're like, what? For a 1-bedroom, literally public bathroom, no personal laundry, no personal bedroom. Like, you'd think these were, like, luxury apartments the way dormitories are priced. It's like, it's such a scam. And they're like, well, you're on campus. That's a benefit. It's like, no. But I'd rather ride my bike, you know? I'll happily ride a bike, like, 10 minutes to school, then literally be like, okay, well, now I'm in super mega debt because I wanted to live in a small bedroom at school. It's like, what? It's like, living at school makes a lot of sense. And for, like, countries that don't have insane tuition or insane college prices, like, you know, like the UK and stuff, tons of sense. But over here, like, they would literally charge you for breathing if you could. And it's like, why? And it's like, I just want to have the college fun of being like, oh, I'm here, and, you know, no. Like, it, financially, it makes no sense. And, like, then all the properties around the school also are ridiculously expensive, too, and you're just like, well, what's the point of even living in the neighborhood by the school, then, if it's going to be priced insanely high just because it's by campus? It's like, that's the whole point of not living on campus, is not paying the fee to live on campus. And they're like, well, you see, now we made a system so that if you don't live on campus, you still pay money. And you're like, what? Like, no, I'll just take the L. You know, I'd rather, like, I literally would ride a bus or a bike. I don't know if you guys know this, but I can't drive. Probably a fun time to I literally can't drive. I can't drive. It's not even an intelligence thing, because, like, I'm sure I could learn how to drive if I properly sat down and did it, because, like, it literally, you know, you push a pedal and you steer a wheel. It's like, how difficult can that be? But I don't like the idea of driving a car. Not yet, anyways. Like, I feel like I have to be more prepared, if that makes any sense. Like, driving, it's not fear-inducing, because, like, you know, I don't get afraid easily of stuff like that. But it's more just, like, the concept of the responsibility of driving is something I don't, like, I don't consider myself precisely ready for yet. Like, I'd much rather just take the bus. This is the hotel Justin built. I'm gonna use it to skip to the day. Whee. Yeah. I just don't consider myself ready for driving yet. Like, I'm very good with responsibility, and I like to have a lot of it. But, like, a car is like a, 2-ton giant vehicle. Like, a car is massive. Like, physically. And it's literally, one wrong move. And I'm like, not ready for that yet. I'm like, no. But yeah, it's straight up just a me thing, because, like, other people would probably be like, whoa, you're being foolish, you know, if you're literally in college and deciding and working towards your future, surely you should be able to drive a car. And I'm like, you'd think so, wouldn't you? I don't want to drive yet. It's too much responsibility. And I'm very fortunate that, you know, I live close enough to a metro area where there's, like, busing, and there is, like, we don't have, like, a subway or anything. I wish we did. That'd be so cool. But we do have, like, options for people who don't drive. They're not the best options, but there are options. This is the copycat chest, the one by the, the one by the door. So this is literally what I always have on me, is like inner chest bed, flint and steel. Yeah, right now I don't have all those items, so I gotta go get them soon enough, but I will. Yeah. It does suck though, because like I knew I was already sacrificing the college experience by going to community college, and then it's like, oh, I get no college experience thanks to the pandemic. It's like, oh, you wanted to actually live out your 20s? No. And I'm like, great. And that's maddening in and of itself, is it's just like, you literally, it's like, oh, you thought you got to experience your 20s. No. How about feeling like you're a grounded teenager for forever, and you're just like, this is so dumb. This is so dumb. Because, like, I don't have the luxury of it even being relatively safe for me to be, like, a regular person in the pandemic and, like, go out all the, like, people go out and they wear masks and stuff, they're doing real good, and I'm, like, super proud of that. But, like, that's even too risky for me, with, like, my lungs and my heart and stuff. Like, that is such a dangerous game. Like, I've literally left my house 11 times since the pandemic started. And that's not hyperbole, that's not me being dramatic or anything. Like, that actually is, like, I've left 11 times. I'll, like, go outside and hang out in the yard and stuff, but, like, not even, like, walking around the neighborhood or stuff. Like, I don't mess with it. So it's done such a weird psychological thing to me, because my brain is basically like, oh, you're grounded. And I'm like, I wasn't even grounded as a teenager, you know? Like, I didn't misbehave enough to get grounded. And it's like, it's so strange. Because I sincerely I want life to return to normal, but I'm also so fearful of life returning to normal. And like I said earlier, it takes a lot for me to be fearful of something. And this is something that I genuinely, returning to a normal life when you've had a year of a new normal, and when you were already someone who didn't like being in public, and you were already someone who was already obsessed with like germs and being in public and being around other people, it's like, yeah, I love being sociable and I love being near people, but man, oh man, is it just like, it's weird. It's gonna be so weird to go back to a normal life. Like, it genuinely is something that like stresses me out. It's something that keeps me up at night, is like the thought of like, well, you know, you're gonna have to go back